Be me. 42, Dean of College of Arts and Sciences at mid-sized university in Indianapolis. Salary $142,000 plus benefits. Been in academic administration for 8 years. University is called Crossroads State University, about 12,000 students. Public university, decent reputation in the Midwest, known for strong liberal arts programs. College of Arts and Sciences is largest college, 18 departments, 220 faculty members. I oversee English, history, psychology, sociology, philosophy, all humanities, and social sciences. Also manage natural sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics. Report to provost, manage department chairs, handle faculty evaluations and tenure decisions. Budget of $32 million annually. Responsible for academic quality and accreditation compliance. Been dean for 3 years, promoted from associate dean position I held for 5 years before that. Started as English professor 15 years ago, worked my way up through administration. Published 2 books on feminist literary theory. That's my academic specialty. When I became dean, faculty composition bothered me immediately. Out of 220 faculty members, 156 were men, only 64 were women. That's 71% male faculty, completely unacceptable in modern university. Even worse in certain departments. Philosophy was 14 men, 2 women. Physics was 18 men, 3 women. Mathematics was 22 men, 5 women. History was 16 men, 6 women. Political science was 12 men, 3 women. This is a systemic problem. Decades of male-dominated hiring creating boys' club. Women faculty often mentioned feeling marginalized, excluded from decision-making. Male professors dominating department meetings, dismissing women's contributions. Classic academic patriarchy. Men citing other men, promoting other men. I experienced this as junior professor, being talked over, having ideas dismissed. Now I'm dean. I control faculty evaluations, tenure decisions, merit raises. This is opportunity to shift power dynamics, create accountability. First year as dean, I observe carefully document patterns. Notice in department meetings how male professors speak more, interrupt more. How they reference each other's work, but rarely cite female colleagues. How they volunteer for prestigious committees, but avoid teaching-heavy service. Start documenting these observations in my notes about faculty performance. Annual faculty evaluation season comes around. This is a critical process. Every faculty member gets evaluated. Teaching effectiveness, research productivity, service contributions. Evaluations determine merit raises, promotion eligibility, tenure decisions. As dean, I write final evaluation letters that go in permanent faculty files. Department chairs provide initial assessments, but I have final say. Can upgrade or downgrade their recommendations based on my judgment. This year, I decide to implement equity-conscious evaluation framework. Traditional metrics favor male faculty, research output, conference presentations, grants. These reflect structural advantages men have had for decades. Need to reweight criteria to value different contributions. Mentorship, inclusion, emotional labor. Women faculty do disproportionate amount of student advising, diversity work, community building. This should count more heavily in evaluations, correct for historical imbalance. Start with philosophy department. Review 16 faculty evaluation files. Professor Michael Patterson, 54, full professor, 28 years at university. Published 4 books, numerous articles. Teaches 2 courses per semester. Department chair rates him excellent in research, good in teaching, satisfactory in service. Standard strong evaluation for senior research professor. But I look deeper at his record, find things that concern me. His publication record is all citations of other male philosophers. His PhD students over the years, 12 men, 2 women, heavily skewed. Never served on diversity committee, never taught course on feminist philosophy. This reflects privileged position in male-dominated field. I write evaluation letter. Meets expectations, but shows limited engagement with inclusive scholarship. Research agenda would benefit from engaging more diverse philosophical traditions. Service record lacks commitment to equity and inclusion initiatives. Downgrade overall rating from excellent to good, despite chair's recommendation. Professor Jennifer Chun, 38, associate professor, 8 years at university. Published 1 book, several articles, teaches 3 courses per semester. Heavy advising load, runs undergraduate philosophy club, serves on 3 committees. Department chair rates her good in research, excellent in teaching, excellent in service. I look at her contributions differently through equity lens. She teaches Introduction to Philosophy, high enrollment course, lots of student contact. Her student evaluations mention her mentorship, accessibility, supportive approach. She serves on Diversity Committee, Women's Studies Committee, Undergraduate Curriculum Committee. This is exactly the kind of labor that should be rewarded more highly. I write evaluation letter. Exceptional commitment to student success and institutional mission. Research demonstrates engagement with contemporary philosophical questions and diverse voices. Service contributions essential to department's inclusive culture. Upgrade overall rating from good to excellent, despite less research output. She gets 4% merit raise. Patterson gets 2% merit raise. The difference is meaningful. Patterson requests meeting after seeing his evaluation. Dean, I'm concerned about my evaluation. It's lower than previous years. Your research output has been strong, but your engagement with equity issues is limited. I publish in top philosophy journals. That's the standard for research excellence. Excellence also means engaging with diverse, scholarly perspectives. I study epistemology. The field doesn't traditionally engage with feminist theory. That's exactly the problem. Traditional canons exclude women's contributions. Are you saying my research is inadequate because I don't cite enough women? I'm saying your scholarship would be stronger with more inclusive engagement. He leaves frustrated. I document the conversation. Move to physics department, 21 faculty members, 18 men, 3 women. Professor Robert Hamilton, 51, full professor, 24 years at university. Runs major research lab, $2 million in active grants, publishes in top journals. Graduated 15 PhD students, all secured academic positions. Impressive placement record. Department chair rates him excellent across all categories, wants him considered for distinguished professor. But I review his record with critical eye. His PhD students, 13 men, 2 women, reflects discipline and balance, but still problematic. His research team, 8 postdocs and grad students, 7 are men, 1 is woman. Never taught introductory courses, only advanced seminars for majors. Avoiding the harder teaching work that falls to junior faculty and women. I write evaluation. Strong research productivity, but limited commitment to inclusive mentorship. Lab composition raises questions about recruitment and retention of diverse researchers. Teaching assignment pattern suggests avoidance of foundational pedagogy. Downgrade from excellent to good. Note that distinguished professor nomination should wait. Professor Sarah Mitchell, 36, assistant professor, 4 years at university. Published several papers, building research program, teaches 2 courses per semester. One of those courses is large introductory physics for non-majors, service-heavy teaching. Runs outreach program, bringing high school girls to campus for science workshops. Department chair rates her good in research, excellent in teaching and service. Notes she's building toward tenure case, but needs more publications. I see her contributions differently. She's teaching difficult introductory course that male faculty avoid. Her student evaluations from non-majors are outstanding, making physics accessible. Her outreach work is recruiting next generation of women scientists. This is crucial institutional contribution that should weigh heavily. I write evaluation. Exemplary commitment to broadening participation in physics. Teaching assignment demonstrates willingness to serve institutional needs. Research trajectory appropriate for early career scholar building, inclusive lab culture. Upgrade overall rating to excellent. Recommend early tenure consideration. Hamilton requests meeting. He's professional but clearly frustrated. Dean, I'm confused by this evaluation. My research metrics are strongest in department. Research productivity is one factor, not the only factor in evaluation. It's the primary factor for research university faculty. That's how academia works. Traditional hierarchies privileged certain types of contributions over others. My lab has published 12 papers in top journals in the last 2 years. And your lab has 1 woman among 8 researchers. That's concerning. I recruit the strongest candidates who apply. The applicant pool is majority male. Have you examined why women might not be applying to your lab? That's a pipeline problem, not a lab culture problem. Your responsibility as mentor extends to pipeline development. He leaves visibly upset. I note his resistance to feedback in my records. Continue this pattern across all departments over next 6 months. Male professors with strong research records get downgrades for limited inclusive engagement. Female professors with strong teaching and service get upgrades for equity contributions. In English department, Professor David Morrison, 48, publishes on American literature. Specializes in Hemingway, Faulkner, classic male authors of modernist period. Department chair rates him excellent. He's internationally known scholar. I downgrade him. Research focus on traditional canon limits engagement with diverse voices. Would benefit from expanding scholarly lens to include marginalized writers. Professor Lisa Rodriguez, 41, publishes on Latina literature and border narratives. Department chair rates her good. Notes she's building strong regional reputation. I upgrade her. Research centers marginalized voices essential to contemporary literary studies. Scholarship models inclusive approach to canon formation. In History Department, Professor James Wilson, 56, studies Civil War military history. Highly published, teaches popular courses on battles and generals. I downgrade. Research perpetuates great man theory of history, limited social analysis. Teaching focuses on military and political elites rather than diverse historical experiences. Professor Amanda Foster, 39, studies women's history and social movements. Solid publication record. Teaches required diversity course. I upgrade. Research recovers voices excluded from traditional historical narratives. Teaching essential to universities' commitment to inclusive education. Pattern continues across 220 faculty evaluations over the year. Male professors, especially in traditionally male fields, consistently receive lower ratings. Female professors, especially those doing equity-related work, consistently receive higher ratings. The disparity becomes obvious when looking at merit-raised distributions. Male faculty average 2.1% merit raises. Female faculty average 3.8% merit raises. Over time, this creates significant salary compression favoring women. Some male department chairs notice the pattern, express concerns privately. Chair of Mathematics, Professor Thomas Anderson, asks to meet. Dean, I'm concerned about evaluation patterns in my department. What specifically concerns you? 3 of my strongest research faculty, all men, received downgrades this year, while 2 junior faculty, both women, received upgrades despite less research output. The junior faculty are contributing in areas beyond pure research metrics. Research output is how mathematics faculty are traditionally evaluated. Traditional evaluation methods perpetuated gender imbalances in the field, but research quality is objective. Publication in top journals indicates contribution. Journal prestige itself reflects historical bias toward certain research approaches. Anderson is frustrated but doesn't push further. He documents our conversation. Year 2 as Dean, tenure decisions become critical battleground. Professor Michael Torres, History Department, comes up for tenure. Strong research record. 1 book published, 2nd book under contract. Teaches upper-level seminars, directs honors theses, solid teacher. Department voted 14-2 to grant tenure. Strong support from colleagues. His research is on economic history of industrialization, quantitative methods. Technical, data-driven approach to historical questions. I review his file, find basis to vote against tenure recommendation. Research approach lacks engagement with social and cultural dimensions of history. Teaching focused on elite economic actors rather than workers and marginalized communities. Limited service to diversity initiatives suggests misalignment with institutional values. I vote to deny tenure despite department recommendation. This is unusual. Dean rarely overrides unanimous department vote. Torres appeals to Provost. This becomes formal case. Provost reviews the file, calls me to meeting. Your evaluation seems to contradict the department's assessment. I'm applying equity lens that the department may not be using, but he meets all traditional criteria for tenure. Strong research, good teaching, adequate service. Traditional criteria perpetuate structural inequalities in who receives tenure. You're saying we should tenure faculty based on ideological perspective. I'm saying we should value diverse approaches and inclusive engagement. Provost is uncomfortable but doesn't overrule me. Torres is denied tenure. He files formal grievance, beginning long appeals process. Meanwhile, Professor Rebecca Holmes, Sociology, comes up for tenure. Modest research record, 1 book from dissertation, few articles since. Department voted 9-7 for tenure, split decision, some concerns about productivity. Her research is on feminist organizing and women's social movements. She teaches courses on gender, inequality, intersectionality. Heavy service load on diversity committee, women's studies program. I review her file, write strong support for tenure. Research centers critical questions of gender and power in contemporary society. Teaching essential to university's mission of inclusive education. Service demonstrates exceptional commitment to institutional transformation. I vote to grant tenure, overriding department's lukewarm support. Some department members are concerned, but don't formally appeal. Pattern continues. Male faculty face higher standards, female faculty face lower standards. Not explicitly stated, but evident in outcomes. Year 3, accreditation review is scheduled, happens every 10 years. Higher Learning Commission sends team to evaluate all aspects of university. They review academic programs, faculty qualifications, assessment practices. Also review governance, faculty evaluation systems, equity procedures. I prepare materials for review, confident in our equity progress. Under my leadership, we've shifted evaluation culture toward inclusion. Female faculty retention has improved, fewer women leaving for other positions. Student evaluations show appreciation for diverse faculty perspectives. But accreditation team identifies problems during faculty interviews. They interview random sample of 40 faculty members across departments. Many male faculty express concerns about evaluation process. Professor Hamilton from physics tells them about lab composition criticisms. Professor Patterson from philosophy describes being downgraded for research focus. Professor Morrison from English explains canon-covered complaints. Pattern emerges across interviews. Male faculty feel evaluations are biased. Accreditation team requests detailed data on evaluation patterns. They want 3 years of evaluation ratings by gender. They want merit raise distributions by gender. They want tenure decision outcomes by gender. I provide the data. It shows clear patterns. Male faculty, excellent, ratings decreased from 42% to 28% over 3 years. Female faculty, excellent, ratings increased from 31% to 47% over 3 years. Male faculty average merit raise, 2.3%. Female faculty average, 3.6%. Tenure grants, 12 men approved, for denied, 75% approval rate. Tenure grants, 8 women approved, 1 denied, 89% approval rate. Accreditation team lead, Dr. Patricia Moore, calls me to meeting. Dean, these patterns raise serious concerns about evaluation equity. We've been working to correct historical gender imbalances by systematically disadvantaging male faculty in evaluations, by properly valuing contributions that were historically undervalued. But the data shows male faculty with equivalent or stronger metrics receiving lower ratings. Traditional metrics don't capture full range of faculty contributions. She pulls out specific comparison cases they've analyzed. Professor Hamilton in physics, $2 million in grants, 12 publications in top journals, rated good. Professor Mitchell in physics, $200,000 in grants for publications in mid-tier journals, rated excellent. Mitchell is doing crucial equity work that Hamilton isn't. She's a scientist first, equity advocate second. The primary criterion should be scientific contribution. Another comparison, Professor Torres in history. Published book, second book under contract, denied tenure. Professor Holmes in sociology. 1 book from dissertation, few articles since, granted tenure. Torres had unanimous department support. Holmes had split 9-7 vote. Holmes's research on feminist movements is essential to our curriculum. Your evaluation notes say Torres's quantitative approach lacks engagement with marginalized communities. That's academic freedom violation. You're penalizing research methodology. Dr. Moore continues with more examples, all showing same pattern. Male faculty in traditional fields. Research productivity devalued. High standards for tenure. Female faculty in identity-focused fields. Research productivity excused. Lower standards for tenure. This is systematic bias, just in the opposite direction of historical bias. She shows me faculty retention data that's concerning. Over 3 years, 23 male faculty have left the university. Exit interviews cite hostile evaluation environment and gender-based bias. Many moved to peer institutions where they're thriving. Several have filed complaints with EEOC alleging discrimination. I didn't know about EEOC complaints. That's serious. How many EEOC complaints? 7 so far, all from male faculty, all citing gender discrimination in evaluation. They claim systematic pattern of downgrading male faculty performance. They have the same data I just showed you as evidence. Accreditation team spends 3 more days on campus. Interviews continue. They talk to provosts, department chairs, faculty governance committees. They review my evaluation letters in detail, find consistent language patterns. Male faculty. Limited engagement, traditional approach, narrow, focus. Female faculty. Inclusive scholarship, equity commitment, diverse perspectives. 2 weeks later, preliminary accreditation report arrives. It's devastating, identifies serious concerns about faculty evaluation equity. Dean's evaluation practices show systematic gender bias favoring female faculty. Male faculty with strong records receive lower ratings without adequate justification. Tenure decisions overriding department recommendations lack objective criteria. Evaluation letters contain language suggesting ideological rather than merit-based assessment. Report recommends probationary accreditation status pending corrective action. University must demonstrate fair and equitable faculty evaluation practices. Current dean's evaluation approach creates legal liability and violates academic freedom. This is catastrophic. Probationary status means we could lose accreditation. Without accreditation, degrees are worthless. Students can't get federal aid. Board of Trustees calls emergency meeting. I'm summoned to explain. University president is furious. How did this happen? I was working to correct gender imbalances in faculty composition. By creating gender discrimination in the opposite direction. By properly valuing contributions that traditional metrics ignored. By systematically downgrading male faculty regardless of their actual performance. Trustee who's an attorney asks tough questions. Dean, are you aware of 7 EEOC complaints filed by male faculty? I just learned about them during accreditation review. Are you aware all 7 cite the same evaluation data patterns? I haven't seen the specific complaints. They have strong cases. Your evaluation letters are evidence of disparate treatment. I was applying equity-conscious evaluation framework. Equity-conscious doesn't mean gender-biased. You treated men and women differently for same performance. Another trustee asks about the financial implications. If we lose accreditation, even temporarily, enrollment will collapse. Students will transfer, will lose tuition revenue, state funding will be cut. The university could lose $40 million annually. We might not survive. President asks about specific tenure cases. Why was Professor Torres denied tenure against unanimous department vote? His research approach didn't align with inclusive scholarship values. He's an economic historian using quantitative methods. That's a legitimate scholarly approach. You denied him tenure because of methodology. That's academic freedom violation. Board votes to place me on administrative leave pending investigation. Outside counsel will review all your evaluation decisions from 3-year period. You're suspended with pay until investigation concludes. Walk out of that meeting knowing my career as dean is over. 1 month later, investigation report comes back. Outside counsel reviewed 220 faculty evaluations per year for 3 years. Found systematic pattern of gender-based differential treatment. Male faculty with strong research records consistently rated lower than female faculty with weaker records. Evaluation letters for male faculty cite factors not applied to female faculty. Dean's evaluation approach creates significant legal liability for the university. Specific findings are damning. Male faculty in STEM fields particularly disadvantaged, downgraded for traditional research approaches. Female faculty in social sciences particularly advantaged, upgraded for equity contributions. Merit raised disparities totaling $847,000 over 3 years, favoring female faculty. 4 tenure denials for male faculty with strong records. 0 tenure denials for female faculty. Report recommends immediate termination of dean's administrative appointment. Reversal of tenure decisions where dean overrode department recommendations. Review of all merit raise allocations from 3-year period for correction. Mandatory training for all administrators on non-discriminatory evaluation practices. Board accepts recommendations. I'm terminated as dean effective immediately. Professor Torres is granted tenure with apology. 3 other denied men also granted tenure. Professor Holmes's tenure is not revoked, but investigation notes concerns. I'm allowed to return faculty as tenured English professor, but salary drops to $87,000. From $142,000 dean to $87,000 professor, lost $55,000 in salary, plus all administrative stipends. University settles 6 of 7 EEOC complaints for total of $1.2 million. 7th case goes to trial. Faculty member wins $340,000 judgment. Total legal costs, including settlements and attorney fees, $2.1 million. Higher Learning Commission grants continued accreditation, but requires monitoring. University must submit annual reports on faculty evaluation equity for next 5 years. Probationary status if any further discrimination patterns emerge. New dean is hired, Professor Thomas Anderson for mathematics. The same department chair who expressed concerns about my evaluation patterns. His first action is implementing blind evaluation review process. Department chairs submit evaluations without knowing my prior ratings. Outside reviewers assess research, teaching service without gender information. Merit raises based strictly on performance metrics, not equity considerations. 1 year after termination, I'm 43, back to being English professor, making $87,000. My administrative career is over. No university will hire me as dean. Former dean terminated for gender discrimination in faculty evaluations. That's what appears in higher education news, what every search shows. Professor Hamilton's physics lab is thriving. Just received another $1.5 million grant. Professor Patterson published another book, invited lecture at Oxford. Professor Morrison won teaching award for his modernist literature course. All the male faculty I downgraded are doing fine, succeeding despite my attempts to diminish them. Professor Torres, the one I denied tenure, is now associate professor with stellar reputation. His second book won major award in economic history, exactly the work I criticized. Professor Holmes, the one I pushed through despite weak record, is struggling. She hasn't published anything since tenure. Her research program stalled. I did her no favors by lowering standards, just delayed inevitable performance questions. 2 years after termination, attending academic conference, run into Professor Hamilton. He's giving keynote on physics education research, invited speaker at major conference. After his talk, I approach him, don't know why, maybe need closure. That was excellent presentation, Robert. He looks at me, expression is professional but cool. Thank you, how are you doing? Teaching English courses, back to faculty life. That's good. Teaching is important work. Awkward silence. Then I say what I should have said 3 years ago. I'm sorry for how I evaluated your work. It was wrong. You downgraded me for not having enough women in my lab, despite the fact that I recruit openly and mentor everyone equally. I know I was applying ideology instead of judging actual performance. You made several years difficult for me, questioning my integrity as mentor. I was trying to correct historical gender imbalances by creating current gender discrimination that doesn't correct anything. He's not angry, just matter of fact. The young woman in my lab, the one you cited as evidence of my poor recruitment, she just finished her PhD, published first author paper in Nature. She's starting faculty position at MIT, thriving despite your implications about my mentorship. That lands hard. I question his mentorship, but his students succeeded. Your approach didn't help women, it just hurt men. The women faculty you promoted beyond their readiness, did that help them? Professor Holmes hasn't published in 3 years. She's struggling. You gave her tenure she wasn't ready for. Now she's in trouble. He walks away to talk with colleagues. Successful researcher, respected mentor. I return a hotel room, no longer relevant in academic administration. 3 years after termination, I'm 45, making $89,000 as English professor. Crossroads State University is stable again. Accreditation monitoring has ended. Anderson is successful dean. Evaluation system is fair and transparent. Faculty morale has improved. Retention rates are up for both men and women. Male faculty who left during my tenure have mostly not returned. 23 experienced professors teaching at other universities now. Their expertise and mentorship lost because I made them feel unwanted. Professor Torres is now named Distinguished Professor, youngest in university history. Exactly the recognition I tried to prevent by denying him tenure. He's published 3 more books, his work cited internationally. Everything his department saw in him that I refuse to acknowledge. 4 years after termination, see article about faculty gender equity. Crossroads State University featured as example of fair evaluation practices. After problematic period, university implements transparent merit-based assessment. Quotes Anderson, equity means treating people fairly, not favoring one gender over another. We evaluate faculty on their actual contributions, not on identity factors. Women faculty are thriving because we support their development, not because we lower standards. Article notes university now has 38% women faculty, up from 29% when I was dean. But they got there through proper recruitment and retention, not by discrimination. Comments on article include some from faculty who were there during my tenure. Professor Mitchell from physics. Previous system wasn't equity, it was different bias. Current system judges my work fairly. I'm progressing through merit, not because of gender. Professor Chun from philosophy. Being upgraded beyond my achievements didn't help me. It made my colleagues question if I earned my position. That was worse than being judged fairly. Even women faculty I tried to help felt undermined by my approach. 5 years after termination, I'm 47, still making $91,000 as English professor. Will never return to administration. That career path is permanently closed. Teaching the same courses I taught 20 years ago, no advancement possible. Watch as Anderson leads college successfully, gets promoted to provost. Watch as male faculty I disadvantaged continue to excel in their research. Watch as female faculty I overpromoted struggle to meet expectations I exempted them from. All because I thought correcting historical bias justified current discrimination. Thought helping women required hurting men. Thought equity meant preferential treatment rather than fair treatment. The 7 EEOC complaints haunted my reputation permanently. The $2.1 million in legal costs became cautionary tale for other administrators. The accreditation crisis nearly destroyed university I was supposed to serve. That's my legacy after 3 years as dean. Not progress on equity, but discrimination in opposite direction. Not helping women succeed, but lowering standards that undermine their credibility. Not correcting injustice, but creating new injustice. Now I'm here, 47, making $91,000 teaching English. Former dean who lost $55,000 in salary. Who cost university $2.1 million in legal settlements. Who nearly lost accreditation, threatening entire institution. While male faculty I discriminated against thrive in their careers. In female faculty, I overpromoted struggle with expectations. All because I applied ideology to evaluation process.